and like, you're too noisy. And like, I said, you don't have to be around me.
Friendship may actually go beyond just relating on a superficial basis.
There's the adage that says, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are.
There are some of us who are not very good at regular visit, but because they are friends,
you have to.
In order to maintain that friendship.
The emotional state of the parents is usually directly proportional to the emotional state of the children.
Hello viewers, welcome again to our favorite family show, The Living Room, right here at Equa Television International. Today we have a very interesting couple who are here to share their lives with us. Well, you get to see them very soon. My name is Amaka Ocheke, and we'll be talking with this interesting couple about their marital journey, how they have fared, the successes, the tidbits they need to share with us, or maybe even more than tidbits. Maybe real eba and rice that they need to share with us, how they have succeeded so far in their marriage, and ways they can help, other people can pick things up here and there that would also help them in their own marriage. So with us today are the Jenoms. Yes. Thank you so much, guys, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank
Glad
you
to be
too.
here.
Yes. So, tell us about yourself. Maybe we'll start with Oga. Is that okay, Njeb?
Yeah.
Oh, ladies first.
Okay.
Okay. Ladies first. Or some people say ladies first after the men.
Okay,
Right.
we'll do ladies first.
Okay.
I am in Jenoms. Okay, we've been married for 13 years. We'll be 13 in December.
Wow.
Okay, yes, and we're both from Kaduna State. We work with Great Commission movement, yes, with the Family Ministry of Great Commission, and we are Equa members.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that is a bit for now about
Okay.
us.
Okay. Yes, so just to add to that, I have we have been in ministry, she for 14 years and me for 18 years, 18 in May, and we've been involved in ministry to young people, campus ministry, but currently, like she said, we have a ministry focus to families and preparing, intending young people for marriage. Yes.
Why ministry to families?
Okay, it's interesting. I know when I joined ministry right after NYSC, I felt when I'm old, family ministry is where I would go to.
Okay. Where you retire into.
Yeah.
Yes, where I'll retire into. So I didn't know it's going to happen this soon, because I felt you needed to be aged to be in the family
To
ministry.
have enough experience.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, the ministry responsibility I had, we were to relocate to Accra, Ghana, and so we were preparing for that. So the ministry I was in, I had handed over
Okay.
to move to Accra, and then globally some restructuring was done in our organization. So the ministry where we were to go to in Accra, the office was closed down.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So we had to remain here. So now I have handed over. So it was a time of thinking, what do we do? It was an administrative role, very tasking, finance, and my wife was not keen for me to go back to that ministry responsibility. So we had other options to think of. Eventually, we landed on family ministry. One of our leaders, who is giving leadership to the family ministry, has been asking us to consider
Okay.
for years, but we felt we were too young. So anyway, when we got to that crossroads, we felt God was leading us. And interestingly, I think it was clearer for her than for myself.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Jeb, do you want to add something to that?
No, not to the ministry thing. Yes, but just add we have 4 children. Yes, about us. That's
Okay,
all.
about you. Okay,
Yes.
okay. 4 very interesting children. Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. So, but why do you think there needs to be a ministry to families? Maybe in Jeb, why?
because I would say, if I say the marriage system, there's a decadence. I know it may feel strong, yes, a word to use, but serious, the marriage institution is decaying because we consume a lot of things. Now there's a shift from doing marriage God's way, yes, to doing marriage our own way. I see, for me, I think marriage is one of the easiest ways, rather, man is prone to do it his own or her own way than to do it God's way. Yes, so for that, I strongly believe that there should, the issue of marriage should be taken with all seriousness from the church, because there's a shift, yes, away from God's standard.
Want to add something to that?
Yes. And then I think there's a reason for that shift. It's obvious that marriage is under attack. Everything that is happening right now, it's traceable to marriage. The gender thing, if gender is redefined, definitely, traditional marriage is affected. The issue of single parents, abortion, all of that relates to marriage. And marriage is the portrait which God has used to try to give us a sense of the kind of relationship he wants to have with us. And it has been said, marriage is the smallest unit of a society. And if you want to effect change and transformation, it is strategic to start with family. Yes, it's strategic to start with family. So, since family is the smallest unit of a society, and then marriage is the context in which family is done, we believe any effort to redeem marriage and family is a strategic one that will help bring about societal transformation.
So, this marriage ministry, your work now, let's look at what you do. What exactly does your work entail in the family ministry of Great Commission Movement? What exactly do you do? Do you just pray for families? You just be praying for us? If we bring prayer points, be praying for us, encouraging us. Jeb, you're laughing. Yes, we want to know what exactly you do.
Okay. Basically, we do evangelism and discipleship amongst married people. So how do we do that? We, via contacts, we do premarital counseling and marriage counseling itself. So we use these 2 areas to get contacts. And we believe that every marriage problem is a God problem. Yes, if there's a problem in the home, you would trace it. At the end of the day, you would discover that there's something, a disconnect with relationship with God. Yes. So in the course of talking, you get to do evangelism and you get to do discipleship. So basically that is what we do.
What you do.
Yes.
Okay,
And then to add, we also offer training, yes, for churches on how to do premarital counseling and then marriage counseling too.
Okay.
And then we also have marriage enhancement events, what we call the Art of Marriage. Is a seminar, a weekend seminar. We have Weekend to Remember, which is also another weekend program, a getaway. The Art of Marriage is not a getaway, but Weekend to Remember is getaway. And then we have, we also equip parents to do parenting well.
Okay.
we have also the art of parenting. Then, talking about discipleship, the discipleship we do is in a small group context. We call it home builders groups, which is a group of 4 to 7 couples. It's a small group mentoring and discipleship for couples. And the interesting thing is the model for that is we want to equip couples who are in such groups are expected to catch the vision and the burden to see that they also have they can have a personal ministry. You don't have to be in full-time vocational ministry like we are to be able to have an impact. Yes. So couples in such groups can go ahead and start similar groups. Okay. So that's the multiplication effort of that group. So what we trust God to see usually in a city or a location is a movement of home builders groups. Small groups blossoming where couples come together to learn how to do marriage according to God's design.
Okay. So now let's look at the pre-marital counseling thing. So if people want to have premarital counseling done by you, how do we get around it?
Okay.
Do we make contact, or you are the one who goes around looking for people getting about to get married? And say, okay, can we do premarital counseling for you?
No, usually we get contacted to do it. Now we have a radio program, so there are instances where callers from the radio, listeners rather, yes, call in to request. Yes, sometimes friends may suggest, people we know would suggest, yes, but usually people contact us to do that. Yes, we do that in 2 ways, physically and remotely. Well, even though we feel it's best to do it physically. Yes. So
sometimes
yes,
it's out of your control.
Sometimes, yes, especially now that people are working. Yes, so sometimes we do it remotely or physically. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So through the radio program, we talk about what we do, and then people, there's a contact, people call in to ask, and then on our social media platforms, we have people who
request that.
Yes, who write to indicate
so if viewers now, if anybody wants to have premarital counseling done by you, how do they get in touch?
Okay, you mean viewers of this program?
Yes, now.
We can leave a contact number,
okay,
which they can send a message to or call.
Or I believe they have the contact of this, yes, and they will call
Okay,
in.
so what we're going to do is on our, because we are also on Facebook.
Okay.
So we'll put it on the Facebook.
Okay.
As a continuation to this program.
Yeah.
Okay.
You give us the number and we'll put it so that people could contact you if they want to.
Okay. And we also have a Facebook handle as well. So
okay, so you give us all
we
that,
could
and then
share
we
that.
will share all
Yes.
that so that people could contact you. Okay, for the marriage things, how do you get people? Same way?
Yeah, same way.
Okay.
Yes, I think, and then I think one of our major source of contact is the radio program.
Okay.
A weekly program on Sundays on JFM, 6 to 7 p.m. So people call after the program. People send messages, either WhatsApp or SMS, or call to request for counseling. Okay. So usually we have a team of both full-time Christian vocation people like us, and then we have a team of volunteers and associate staff who are, I think, interestingly, on our team, we are the youngest couple. Okay, so we have the role of administrators on the team. So when people send in messages, we get to know what the challenges are, and then we refer them to different couples on our team to attend to the different issues. Okay. Yes.
Based on what is raised, because I remember someone who needed attention urgently. Well, we're like, she can't be with us because we felt a medical doctor was best for that. Yes, and then we have medical doctors on our team, so we told her that yes, she should meet them.
Okay. So from your experience and the things you've been doing, what are the things that, because you've already said that which is true, that marriage is under attack.
Yeah.
The home life, family life is under attack. So what are the things? What are the things that are warring against our marriages succeeding? What are the things?
Okay, one thing that I would say other things hang on like an overarching problem, I would say selfishness. Selfishness, and over time, people don't see marriage as an institution where you come in and maintain with selflessness. So most times when you hear people talk, it's just about themselves, and you wonder, why did they get married in the first place? You sound like someone, you love your independence so much, then you shouldn't have even considered marriage in the first place. So all other things hang on that selfishness. Okay, so but the other issues, the commitment to stay faithful to your spouse, is one of the challenges we handle, we deal with. Then there's the issue of difficulties in marriage. People are not patient to deal with challenges together, or to experience difficulties together. Any little difficulty, someone wants to leave, or the person is complaining about his or her spouse. The issues, whether currently most of the issue has been financial challenges, welfare issues. Those are issues that come up. And the issue of battery, wife beating, it's
What does husband beating?
yes, no, that's there, but the
It's
truth
not as
is
common.
it's not as common, and probably also because
The men
even though men don't
voice
open
it
up,
out
but
to
still,
say,
I don't think it's as common as men who beat their wives.
Well, I guess men are stronger generally than women, but I'm aware that there are
Yes.
women who beat husbands.
And then another worrying issue is the issue of sexual intimacy. I think we are getting more cases where, and the challenge is the men. When I say the men, in the sense that the women are the ones complaining that the men are not being sexually intimate with them. That's what I mean by when I say the men. Usually, traditionally, it has been the men complaining that their sexual appetite is not being satisfied. But we're getting more cases where it's the reverse. Yes.
Why is that so?
We have, from what we have, the little we have seen, usually when that happens, you could be saying the culprit could be the man is unfaithful. Probably he's sexually active outside the marriage, and there's a reason why he's not interested with sexual intimacy with the wife. But we are also seeing situation where the women are the ones who are sexually active out there. A few cases where the women are sexually active and the man feels he needs to protect himself because the woman is so he doesn't want to contract something
He didn't bargain for.
And then we have other cases where the man just complains of fatigue
as a result of the pursuit of other things.
Yes,
he works all day trying to earn money, and then by the time he comes back, fatigue sets in. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but
and then one more area that we notice, both from the female and the male, no one is willing to leave and cleave. Yes, you're married, but there's an attachment to your own family, your parents and siblings, both from the husband and the wife. Yes, so that is also a big one.
There's something a few people have raised for me or have told me about. I don't know whether you've had that in your experience. Part of this intimacy problem, and is looking as if people are becoming. We're having men becoming more. I don't know whether becoming more or more. There are more men now who are actively practicing homosexuality, and they are not interested in their wives or having anything to do with their wives. Because I've had a few people talk about that was the problem. And then when the woman found out, it became, like they have other male partners outside, so they're not interested. So I don't know whether you've had that as an experience or somebody has, but I know people have talked about that to me.
Yes, we are aware of that, but we've not had that.
Okay.
We've not had a contact with someone where that is an issue, but we've read about that and we've heard, stories of that, and which could be a reason. But just like she mentioned earlier, I think part of the issue could be our materialism, pursuit of the good things of life, and then I think generally I think our lifestyles as well. I know you are a medical practitioner, so you could maybe throw more light to that. I think that like our health lifestyles, maybe probably the things we eat, our eating habits, I don't know if it has impact on sexual performance, which will also impact sexual intimacy. So probably that could also be
Contribute
a reason
to that. Yeah.
Yes. And then another thing for sexual intimacy also, it's a topic that people don't want to talk about comfortably, even couples. And we, thank God my wife is nodding because we also had to get
used to talking about it.
Yes, get past that. Okay.
Why is it difficult to talk about?
Maybe it's cultural, because I have discovered when I was in student ministry, I was wowed. I meet young people from Christian homes whose parents are intellectuals. And then there are some things about sexuality that they have not been taught at home. And then I'm like, sometimes when I share, they will say, Auntie, are you hearing it for the first time? They will say yes.
What
parents? So it's because
parents, and what of schools? I thought they said the curriculum that there's sex education in curriculum. I don't know.
Someone said, a teacher once shared with me that honestly, that what they do in schools most times is just teach girls how to use sanitary tools, and that is all.
Wow.
That people. So
that means teachers are not comfortable.
The teachers
also
too are not comfortable to talk about, because by the time you start, you see some teachers only do that. Some teachers will be looking down as if they're trying to find something on the floor. Nobody wants to talk, and then the children begin to chuckle, and then that's all. Now, even in schools, we don't. It is a subject we don't talk about it even till today. So I think that's the problem. And then when you are from a home, like I remember a lady was sharing with me that it was in the hospital when she was about to have her first baby that a woman noticed she didn't shave. And she was like, for how long? Let me check your armpits. She was like, are you not supposed to do this thing? Yes. She felt embarrassed. What do you talk about this thing? So if you come from a culture, home or school where you're not being taught, it will be difficult for you to talk about it. It's like how they teach sex education. They tell you, don't open your legs to anybody, don't allow anybody touch you. And
I think there needs to be the parents just need to be deliberate about it.
Yes.
True.
We were into my mom was, she tried, but I could see she was very embarrassed, so I just helped her finish the conversation and walked away. But I decided to be deliberate with my children, to say we would have this conversation and to say that there's no area or topic that is sacrosanct.
Yeah.
You can talk about every and anything,
Yeah.
so that they will be comfortable talking, telling you where there are issues, where there are problems, and you can deal with that.
And
True.
also, when we're sharing with this same lady, she said the teacher, she said something that it just dawned on her that at the time we were talking, that's when she realized that even in schools where they teach premarital sex issues very well, they leave out masturbation. That they don't do that. She said it was when her husband sat with her and he was like, see, well, this is what I'm doing because you're not giving me time. As if this urge should burst open and swallow her. Yes.
So she hadn't thought of
Yes.
it or heard of it
Yes.
before.
So
Yeah.
we need to talk about it
We
all
would
the
also
way.
advise that anyway, parents should not leave this to the schools.
Mm-hmm.
The schools are only to help you. They are not. They shouldn't be your
not.
main.
And then even with the schools, they could get information, sex education that is detrimental to the children, because they could end up being taught how to use contraceptives, how to use condoms at the end of the day when they get to that level of overcoming that cultural reluctance to talk about it. And then part of the way we also have tried to help is during premarital counseling.
Yeah.
Okay, talk
Yes,
about
because there's a session on sexual intimacy where you make the people they are encouraged, in a sense, forced to discuss these issues both between the both of them and with their premarital counselors. And then where we collaborate with churches to help them set up a marriage committee or a family life committee. That is what counselors are also being encouraged, because in many churches you find out that
He's a pastor.
yes,
And he doesn't have time.
and he doesn't do it with his wife. One of the things we encourage is premarital counseling should be done as a couple. Okay, so
But the pastors don't even have time. There's no
Yeah.
way. There's no way one pastor can meet with every couple
True.
10, 12 times. It can't work.
that is why the best strategy is
Can't
to
work.
get a group
team.
of couples
Who you
who
train.
are who are mature, who are respected, and you can see they are making an effort to do marriage the way God intends. Not perfect, because there's no
Nobody is perfect.
there's
right?
no
But we're
perfect
working
there's
towards
no
it.
perfect couple. So you get a team of such couples, and they are equipped and trained, and they can give the pastor support in that area. So that has helped in many local churches.
Okay, interesting. Okay, before we now go back to the solution to all these marriage issues, let's get back to the Jenoms.
Okay.
So, if you don't mind, if you share with us how you guys met, how you decided to get married, and how you have been running this marriage. Jenom, why are you laughing?
You want to shoot?
You should.
Okay. I was staff of Great Commission in ABU, serving in ABU, campus of ABU Zaria. And she was one of the student leaders.
Where did you do your undergraduate?
ABU Zaria.
Okay.
Yes.
But we didn't meet while he was in
Yes,
school.
Yes. So she was one of the student leaders working in our student ministry. At least that's how I knew her, but nothing. So it was more like a staff student relationship at that time. Not until after I was transferred to Jos, I lost the relationship I was in ended, and I was trusting God for a life partner, and who would be with me in ministry. Actually, why the previous relationship ended was because the lady did not feel called. Yes, but anyway, I wouldn't say God told me that she's the one, but I would say she was one of the ladies in my circle of, let me not say acquaintances, more than acquaintances. But at the point after I kept praying for a life partner, thoughts of her were coming and another lady. But my mind was more towards the other lady. Okay. In fact, I even traveled from Jos to Zaria to go and propose, but I think God had other plans. I guess God knew if I had met that lady, I would have probably proposed, and maybe that would have not been the best
For you.
Yes, but for one reason or the other, we couldn't meet, and I had to come back to Jos. Anyway, we went on a student project in Côte d'Ivoire, and that was where I proposed to her. We've been communicating, and anyway, in hindsight, she would say that I was calling her too much, but I was shocked.
You didn't think you were calling her?
Yes, I didn't think I was calling her too much. And then in her heart, she was also saying, with the way this, for her, it is not the issue of whether I am in full-time Christian vocation, because while she was in school, 300 level, she had already decided when she's done with school, she's joining ministry. So for me, I knew that was not an issue. But I think for her, it was more of if I was the right person. But interestingly, she didn't like me. I didn't know that she didn't like me, but I later came. So it was on that trip to Côte d'Ivoire that she said she really got to know me better, and then she was wondering why did she have this impression about me before. I knew her parents before I knew her. So in Zaria then we were organizing this school of evangelism. So her parents were part of, let me say, my students. I was taking sessions and they were there in the class, and I didn't know they had good things to say about me when they go home. And she would be countering what they were saying because but anyway, long story short, I proposed in Yamoussoukro, and
You went to Yamoussoukro?
Yes. It took her 2 weeks to respond, and when she responded, we were in Jos. There was crisis. It was lockdown, so I was lonely at home, and I got a great news. She didn't tell me yes. What she said was, "I love you." That was just one, and ended the call. That was how reluctant she is to talk about romantic things. So, so I had to call her back. I say, "Is that a yes?" And then she just said, "I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you." And
what else do you need?
That's
yes enough. That's yes enough.
Yes, that made my day. So that was how the relationship started.
Okay.
Yes.
Jeb, do you want to add something?
Just to say, I struggle with that. I remember on our way back, I was looking for an excuse. I asked him his genotype, and he said, "I'm AA, you can't
She
run
was
away."
looking for an excuse to say no.
"I'm AA, you can't run away from me." I felt bad. Look at this guy, what rude. Like, no, I can't do with such a rude person, because I was hurt by his response, and when
I was just being mischievous.
Yes. So I shared with someone, and she said, an older friend, that she would just pray for me, that she knows him. If he is the one, God will just lead me, and I'll wake up. And the day I said yes to him, my elder sister called me to say, "Injeb, Jos is on fire. Have you called your colleagues to ask how they're doing?" I said, "No, I didn't know, because I was serving in Taraba." So I called everybody. And my sister called me like 15 minutes after. Said, "Did you call Jenoms?" I said, "For what?" She said, "I know you will not." I said, "I know you're going to say no to him, but you're going to work with him in future. So call him to ask." So actually, I was supposed to call him to ask how he was doing in the midst of all the crisis. Then I found myself saying something else to him. So, and I'm glad I said yes to him. Yes.
Just curious, before you tell us how you have been running the marriage,
Sorry.
Yamoussoukro, what were people doing there? It's French speaking now.
Yes, we went for we were in student ministry. So for our student ministry, every year we hold a conference in Nigeria, Easter period usually, and then every 3 years we hold the West African Student Conference. So we rotate countries. So that year,
We went to
Cote d'Ivoire, yes, to
Yeah, but
host it.
actually,
Yes,
that
was the
that one
first
was the continent.
Okay, yes, it was the
Student
continent.
conference,
Yes,
it was
the
Africa.
continent. Yeah.
Where
Why?
people meet in Yamoussoukro? Yamoussoukro is not only that cathedral that is there. Is
That is the place, Basilica.
You know,
Is it what-
we used the school.
We use the Polytechnic.
The,
Sorry,
the
we went
Polytechnic, that was
Polytechnic.
our,
Yes.
our event. So we used the facilities
Yes.
of the school for the conference.
Okay.
I
there's
can't
a
remember the name of
Polytechnic.
that,
Yes,
the name
there
of
was
the
a
school now.
Polytechnic,
Where it
yeah.
was the school we used.
I've been to Yamoussoukro once.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay.
Yeah, went to the
Yeah,
cathedral.
and then
too.
interestingly, I was looking for a romantic spot to propose, and it was
You wanted
the
there.
Basilica.
So where in the
Yes.
basilica did you? propose?
High up.
Upstairs.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
I
that
was
place is fine.
afraid. Yes,
That
because
place is
Yes,
nice.
I told myself,
What?
please, I don't want to spend another minute up. Let's go down. People were there taking pictures, but I have a phobia for heights, water and
I
heights.
have a phobia for height, but I
But-
didn't mind that.
Okay.
I didn't mind
Whoa,
that.
no, no.
Yeah, so that was up there, but unfortunately, because when proposing is not something I look forward to. I've only done that how many times in my life? Maybe 2, 3
How many
times.
times are you supposed to do it? You're like, you only do as if you're eating rice.
No, I wanted to say
Talked
two.
about it the other day.
I wanted to say 2 or 3. That was what I was just thinking.
No, you said you've only done it as if it's something that people should be doing very
No,
often.
yes, but I just felt it's I was just trying to say, okay, I didn't have, would I say, experience. Okay, so, and I'm glad, if there's one thing I'm happy that I don't have to do it again. Anyway, I'm like that. So because I remember when I proposed, I'm sure she was laughing because I was just shivering with shaky
Stuttering.
voice. Okay, so anytime I wanted to open my mouth to start talking, colleagues or students
There's
would just
somebody-
come by, let's take pictures. So each perfect moment kept going until we left the basilica, went back to the school. Then I had to tell her, please, I need us to talk. So we stayed in a courtyard of one of the hostels, and then that was where
You declared your manifesto.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So, what do you guys think has helped your marriage to be successful? And what are some of the pitfalls you've...
Okay, I think one of the things, not to, at the risk of sounding spiritual, let me just say,
Well, you're spiritual, so
yes,
go
a
ahead.
commitment to God. I think basically, and we share that commitment, that our commitment to each other should be based on
Good.
our commitment to God. One of the things that she likes to pray for us about is that we would get so intimate with God, and then in the process, our own intimacy would grow. Okay, so, but also I would say the premarital counseling we received helped. It helped. The community of believers around us also, before we even decided to get married, at least we've seen model marriages, model couples, model spouses, people who are not perfect, but you know that they have taken the commitment of marriage very serious. So that, and then our premarital counseling, it really helped give us the foundation, helped us, exposed us to the reality of of the marriage experience, knowing that, I think one statement that I took away from that premarital counseling is marriage is hard work.
Work
It's
your
hard work,
marriage
so
out.
you just need to put in the effort. God helping you.
And then the communication, we talk. Yes, I can say we talk about everything. There is no subject that I think I'll struggle to bring up with him. Yes, about us, we talk, we discuss things. Yeah, so like that has helped us.
So how the communication, did it come easy, or is something you had to learn and get better at?
For me, it came easy. Yes, because I didn't see my parents talk. I didn't see my parents get to sit down to talk. So I said that I wouldn't want a marriage like that. So while we were courting, we talked about it. That see, we won't get married. We'll talk about things. So that it was the decision we made. Yes, talk about whatever it is. So that helped me.
Okay.
I was committed to communication as well, but I wouldn't say it has been easy for me. Let me even say both of us. I guess when she said it's easy for her, probably she was referring to making the commitment to communicate. But the difficult part was in the process of communicating. We had to learn to get each other, because I noticed we were not really understanding each other. Little things. There's something she noticed which I had never noticed. She would ask me, she would say, okay, can you help me do this? And I would not acknowledge that I have heard her. I'll just get up and
Go do it.
Sometimes she is not there, so she may not know that I was already up doing the thing. And then she would ask again, and then I'll respond, but I'm already so those are just small example of what causes some communication friction. Then she said 2 of my brothers at different times came to stay with us for a short while, and then she noticed that they were also like that. So she gave me that feedback. She thinks it's a family upbringing thing. So we have had to overcome all of that, because I had to say, okay, since you know that this is the origin, don't get so worked up about it. I will make an effort to be responding, but those times when I don't respond, don't feel frustrated. Okay, so all of that, and then when the children started coming, communication issues with parenting as well. So we are also learning that each phase of the marriage life, you grapple with these things.
So it's not the same thing throughout.
It's not at all. Like okay, when we were planning to get married, we decided that we will not go to bed without resolving a matter. Okay, and we tried for 12 years, and honestly, in that 12 years, rather in those 12 years, we had gone to bed without resolving an issue 7 times. 3 times it was deliberate. I felt, I just walked out and I went to bed and I slept off. 3 times I felt, okay, let me just allow him some space, then return, and then in the process I slept off. But you see, 12 years, it was last year that I said, this thing is not working no. Because sometimes we get worked up trying to resolve the issue. Now, when we're talking and we're not making any headway, we'll just tell ourselves, this is not going any further. Can we wait and sleep on it and talk about it at some other time? Yes, when everybody is calmer, yes. But the person who is calling for a break, if I'll use the word, should be the person who try to initiate the conversation again. We shouldn't let it just slip under the carpet. Yes. So you don't just make a decision and say, okay, for life you live by it. No.
So you keep reevaluating. If it's not working,
yes.
you look for something else that would work.
Yes. And even when children come again too, you
Can change the
you can
dynamics.
change the
Yeah, it
dynamics.
changes
Yes,
the
because one thing in
dynamics.
parenting, about parenting, we have decided that if one parent is talking to a child and the other parent has a different opinion, do not say that in the presence of the child. Okay, so we're doing it. Sometimes we could just say a word in Hausa and then you understand. But our first child, we don't know how he picked up Hausa. So he picks. So now we are trying to use sign language, and someone will say, "Mommy, why are your eyes like that?" So you see, we're thinking, okay, when you're talking and you feel okay, it's not right. How do you? So you reevaluate. Yeah.
Yeah, so I could be very, very strict, my parenting style, and I feel she's permissive. So we balance each other like that. So we had that communication challenge when she feels I'm being too heavy-handed, and then at first it was to talk in front of the child. I don't think, or you intercede in front. So I had to tell her I don't like it. You're making me come across like a wicked
person, and she's the kind person.
So we had learned, but we've had our own. There are times where the situation just get the best of you, and you don't know the time you have said something in the presence of the child. So those are things we have to be working on.
So it's a learning process.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely.
Marriage is a school.
Yeah, but okay, on this communication, I know that they say men seem to have more challenge in talking. So I don't know. But in the experience, women seem to talk, find it easier to talk. Men seem to find it more difficult to talk. Generally, I know there are exceptions to it. So,
but I think we are an exception. I don't feel like I am talkative, but she thinks I'm talkative.
You?
Yes.
Really?
She's here. She will tell you.
He doesn't
that
talk. I don't hear him talking.
Auntie, when
maybe
there's
at
an
home.
issue, okay, for
Maybe
me,
at home, but in
yes,
public
okay.
he doesn't talk.
Yes, but when we're trying to settle a matter, is there's something I do. I would say I think I stonewall. If I say my mind, especially if I believe that okay, this thing is pink, and you're saying it is blue. Once I say it's pink, I think I am okay. I have weighed the matter. It's like that. I shouldn't go over it. He would want to go over. So I think he uses more words than I do. That's just what I would say that I discover. And then sometimes when I don't want to talk, you say, you're not saying anything. I want you to say. I
Maybe he
want
wants
you
to
to
know
talk.
why you think.
Yes, but
like
I
that.
just feel I have given my why. Yes, then why go over it again and again?
Okay.
Yeah, while me, I feel I feel her conflict resolution style is like she has said her mind. She just wants to give in, and I feel like she's not making an effort
To understand.
Yes, to understand, to be in my shoes. Okay, so, and then that's the issue of conflict resolution. But generally, gisting, I would, when I travel and I come back, I'm the one who's trying to tell stories.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
For her, how was your trip?
Right.
Fine, welcome. That's all.
Are you serious?
Even when I'm away, when I call and we're talking, I want to tell her what I wore, the meals I ate, and all of that. But I'll be the one pumping for information. Okay, how are you? How are the children? What did you eat? What did you do? And then it gets to a point where even I can feel over the phone that I'm bothering her. Okay. So anyway, I
find that very
but
interesting.
I'm growing. I remember there was a time where we're having a small get together with some couples, young people, and then a question was asked about one terrible experience you had on your journey, and I shared an experience I had 3 months before that time, and everybody were laughing, and he wasn't. He just turned and said, "And you're bringing it up now?" I felt bad. He felt bad. That, okay, something like that happened, and I didn't share.
Yeah,
and
she-
he remember, yes,
out
and
of
then
the blue, she
yes.
would just bring.
So he felt bad, and then we talked. And I said, "Okay, Lord, help me." And then now with the children, yes, when you're away, they come. They want to know everything. So, like him, the children do not have his patience, so they kind of disturb you until you talk and talk. So I'm learning.
Oh, that's interesting, because usually what you
Yeah.
find is the women are the ones who talk, the men are the ones
Yeah.
who summarize the gist. Well, that's also my experience. Summarize the gist. How is it? How did it go? It went well. End of story. But you want the details. So, well, I guess people are different, and everybody finds what is working for them. So what we brought out here is that marriage is a process.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a process, and we keep learning
Yeah.
as we go on in the journey. Okay, time isn't a friend, but yes, we're back to all the issues you had raised about why marriages are not working. So what can you tell us, viewers? What can we do to make sure our marriages work? Because I know that a failed marriage, a problem in a marriage would affect you as the individual, will affect your spouse, would also affect your children. Children, very important too. And people won't thrive and achieve what they need to achieve in that drive. Yes. So, in the next 5 minutes or so, please tell us what couples need to do, what they need to watch out for to make sure that their marriages succeed.
Okay. She has mentioned earlier that every marital problem is a God problem that can be traced to your relationship with God. If the quality of your relationship with God is reflected in your marriage, for those who are married, and marriage is God's design. It is God's idea. It is not the idea of our culture. It is not the idea of the society. It's God's idea. And if we must do marriage well, we have to do it on the basis of a personal relationship with God. So, the couple, both spouses, you need to have a personal relationship with God that is growing. That is the foundation for a successful marriage, using God's design and blueprint. And then, in addition to that, it is making a commitment that this marriage would work. No matter what happens, this marriage would work. No, you don't have any plan B, that in case
It doesn't work.
things turn out this way, this is no. You go all in. That's the kind of commitment that marriage needs. Because when you give something your all, you want to make everything, do everything possible to make it work. And then it would also be good to have like-minded people who are serious about doing marriage the way God intends. Because in community, we get encouragement. In community, we get support. So when you have such like-minded people, you grow together. That is one of the advantages of what we call the home builders group. Because in such groups, when you feel your marriage challenge is a unique situation, you learn from other people that, oh, we have either gone through this before, or we are even going through it, and this is how we're dealing with it. So there's encouragement. You don't find yourself like a special victim of that marriage situation that you're going through. And just like we said, since it is marriage is God's idea, constantly applying God's word to your marriage, which is what that community of like-minded people will also help you do. Because today we have a lot of information out there. We have a lot of social media influencers who are spouting
all sorts of ideas.
all sorts of ideas which are popular and people are following,
I mean, not
and they are having heartache Okay, so but when we apply God's word gives us discernment and helps us to do marriage the way God intends. If God is the author, the designer of marriage, and the Bible is his instruction manual, who are we to say in our pride that we don't want to use the instruction manual, want to use something else? That's why we're having all of the challenges that people are having in marriage today. So
Okay. Yeah, just and also know that in your marriage you're to mirror God's image. So what are you mirroring? Yes. First, it's important to show God's unconditional love. And then if you have this mentality, this mindset, you would say, I'm into it to do my own part, whether my partner does his or her own. So I'm going into this marriage playing 100% role. God forbid, it's not easy. That if your spouse is not loving you, you will love the person. But I'm saying, whether he is not loving me, I am loving him as unto God.
So
Yes.
what God expects you to do
Is
is
to-
not dependent
yes.
on what your partner does.
Yes.
God
Yes,
gives us instructions.
play your own role as unto God.
So your spouse is just a beneficiary of your commitment to
To
God.
God.
Okay. So, okay, we need to wrap up here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, you guys, for coming and sharing your life. It's not easy to share, but viewers, we've seen that marriage is a learning process. Nobody is an expert, but if you are willing, if you are committed to God, you want to honor Him in what you do and how you do it, you put in your 100%, obeying God, irrespective of what your spouse does. And if we both are just committed to God, it's going to work out beautiful. And everybody benefits from it, the husband, the wife, the children, the society at large. And then we have a better and safe environment where to raise kids to be all that God wants them to be. So viewers, I encourage us, as we've heard the story of the Jenoms, let's go out there and do the best we can under God. And we have what it takes. If you are a follower of Jesus, you have what it takes to obey God. He has given you His presence. He has given you the Holy Spirit. He has given you His Word. He has given you a community of believers all around you to help you to do what He has called you to do. And He says His grace is sufficient for you and me. So the Jenoms, thank you so much for sharing your life with us. And viewers, let's keep doing what God has called us to do, living lives that will please and honor Him, even in our marriage. So till we come your way again, same time, same place, at the living room of Equa Television International. God bless us all. Bye.